Okay, welcome to our second video on the Islamic civilization. Today we're going to talk about the empire building. So, before Muhammad died, he did not appoint a successor. There was no one to follow him. A successor of Muhammad in Islam is called Caliph. Abu Bakr, who is one of the first converts of Muhammad, was chosen to be Caliph in 632 CE. Not everyone agreed with Abu Bakr's appointment as Caliph. Some believe that the Caliph should be a relative of Muhammad. Islam split into two rival groups over the issue of succession, like who should be the leader. One group became known as Shiites or Shias, and another one became Sunnis. Shiites believed that Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law Ali was a true successor, and other people believe that they don't have to be a bloodline coming down to be the Sunni. These are your Sunnis. Okay, Sunni Muslims are the largest denomination of Islam. Something like 70 to 80% of Muslims are Sunnis. The word Sunni comes from the word Sunnah, which means the tradition of the Prophet. Sunnis believe that Muhammad wanted the community to choose a leader, a process known as Shura, to acknowledge the election of the first four caliphs. Okay, the Shias comes from the Arabic word Shia Ali, meaning the followers of Ali, who is the cousin and son-in-law. Shias or Shiite Muslims believe that Muhammad's successor must be direct descendants. Shiites call Muhammad's successor Imams. Shias believe that the first true Imam was Ali. Shias do not acknowledge the first three caliphs as religious leaders. So there was a conflict, first three, and the fourth one they both agree on. Some Arab tribes revolted against Abu Bakr, the first caliph. Many Bedouin Arabs returned to their old religion. Abu Bakr fought against the rebellion. These are known as the Ridda Wars or Wars of Apostasy. Abu Bakr forced the rebels to submit to Islamic rule. Muslims continued to attack their neighbors. The Muslim army was led by General Khalid bin Walid. Muslims conquered Iraq and Syria. They reached the boundaries of the Byzantine and Persian Empire. Abu Bakr died 634 CE. Before he died, he nominated Umar ibn al-Khattab his chief advisor as successor. He becomes the second caliph. Shia and Muslim faction continued to support Ali instead. Umar becomes the second caliph. He continues the Muslim wars of conquest. Muslim armies captured Mesopotamia, what is now Iraq. They conquered the Persian Empire also, what is now Iran. After the Battle of Yarmouk against the Byzantine, the Muslim armies conquered Egypt, Palestine, Syria, North Africa, and Armenia. Umar developed a large bureaucracy to govern his empire. He established military garrison forts in the cities of Basra and Kufa in Iraq. He also began to codify Islamic law, unify it and written down. He initiated the Islamic calendar starting at the era of Hijrah, which is the year of the flight when Muhammad was forced to flee Mecca to Medina. Umar was assassinated by a Persian slave. He is buried along Muhammad and Abu Bakr. So the first three leaders are buried together. Umar appointed a council to elect the next caliph. The next caliph chosen was Uthman ibn Affan. Uthman had many problems with his governors. Many tribes fought against Uthman. In 656, Uthman was murdered by rebellious Muslim soldiers. Most Muslims supported Ali as the fourth caliph of Islam, so he becomes the fourth caliph. So the first three kind of goes pretty quick. Shia Muslims consider him to be the first and only the leader after Muhammad. Ali changed the leadership of the Islamic provinces. He moved his capital from Medina, which is now Saudi Arabia, to the heavily fortified city of Kufa in Iraq. Islamic Empire fell into civil war. The first fitna. The first Islamic civil war is called the first fitna. Ali's first challenger was Muhammad's widow, Aisha. In other words, this Aisha is his mother-in-law. Her army was defeated at the Battle of the Kamal al-Basra in Iraq. Next, he battled Muawiyah, the governor of Syria. He also had to fight rebels in his own army. Muawiyah, a relative of Uthman, marched against Ali, demanding vengeance for Uthman's death. A long battle took place in July 656 Common Era, CE, near the Euphrates River. The story goes that when Ali began to win, Muawiyah's army attached a copy of the Quran to the points of their spears, exclaiming that the matter ought to be settled by reference to this book, which forbids Muslims to shed each other's blood. Sunni considered Ali to be the last of the Rashdun. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali are popularly known as Rashdun, or righteous guided caliphs. Those are the first four very good ones they considered to be. He was one of the first to accept Islam. He was Muhammad's cousin. He was married to his daughter Fatima also. Muawiyah, the governor of Syria, became caliph after Ali's death. He established what is known as the first Islamic dynasty, Umayyad dynasty, in 661. Islam officially divides into two main sects today, Sunni and Shia. As I said before, Sunnis make up about 85%, maybe up to 90% of the world's population of Muslims. Muawiyah reigned from 661 to 680. The empire spanned from Egypt in the west to Iran in the east. The empire was divided into provinces ruled by governors called emirs. He appointed many Christian administrators to oversee conquered province with large Christian population. He died eventually in 680. He was succeeded by his son Yazid I. Non-Muslims were forced to pay a protection tax called jizya. The government, the tax brought revenue to the government eventually, but it also allows the Christians and non-Muslims to pray and worship their own God in a way they wanted to. Eventually, most people in the Islamic Empire converted. It was cheaper to do that way. Non-Arab Muslims became majority in Persia, and most converts became Sunnis. In 688, Umayyads, led by the Abd al-Malik, conquered the most of North Africa from Egypt to Morocco. He made Arabic the official language of the Islamic Empire. He established a common currency throughout the empire, and mosques where Muslims pray were built throughout. The Second Civil War, called the Second Fitna, reduced the power of the Umayyads. In 711 CE, the Berbers, the North African Berbers, joined the Umayyads, invading of the Iberian Peninsula, what is now Portugal and Spain. They drove out the Catholic Visigoths. They controlled most of the modern-day Spain to the Pyrenees Mountains, which borders what is now France and Spain. In 721, the Muslims were defeated at the Battle of the Tours by Charles Martel, also known as Charles the Hammer. He was the leader of the Franks, the French. This battle stopped the expansion of the Islamic Empire into Europe. The Abbasids overthrew the Umayyad dynasty eventually and took over the Caliph. They moved the capital to Baghdad in Iraq. They made Persian the second language of the empire. Baghdad became the culture and the administrative center for the Islamic world. Traders from as far away as northern Europe and all of Africa came to Baghdad to trade. Baghdad grew wealthy from trade, and Abbasid rulers spent their wealth on art and recreation. Horse racing, polo, and using falcon to hunt were very popular sports. In 751 CE, the Abbasids captured the Chinese bookmakers. The captured Chinese taught the Muslims how to make paper. In the 8th century, the Caliph al-Mansur founded the school named the House of Wisdom. At the school, classical Greek philosophy, science, and literatures were translated and written in Arabic, and these books were sent all over the empire to spread knowledge. Two famous Muslim doctors of the Abbasid period were Al-Razi, known as Raziz, and Ibn Sina. Raziz wrote Raziz is remembered for identification of measles and smallpox. He wrote books on medicine, and Avicenna recorded medical knowledge of the time in a book called Canon of Medicine. His book became the standard medical text in Europe for the next 700 years. Alright, that's a quick short second video. Don't forget to take your 5-question test, submit your hot question, and bring your summary.